Thank you everyone for joining. Hello again to everyone. My name is Bree. I'm a senior program manager at Aiven, and together with my colleague Samsa, who is a regional VP of sales for Asia and Pacific, we will be hosting this session today, talking a little bit about Aiven and how we came about launching this cluster program, and also how Aiven can help you and support your business as you are growing. In terms of the agenda that we're going to go through today, we wanted to take some time and explain a little bit more about our value proposition and exactly the types in which we think you can leverage Aiven to support your growth. That will be something that Samsa will cover in just a few seconds. Then I will take you through a little more detail about the cluster program. How did it come to life, and what are the benefits of the program, also the timeline and the eligibility criteria. And then we really want to dedicate the session to you, the attendees, to give you the opportunity to ask whatever questions you have related to the program, and between me and Samsa, we will try to address them during the session. And in case anyone missed it, there is please use the Q&A menu in Zoom to address those questions. So I will pause now. I will pass over the word to Samsa, who can talk to you a little bit more about what do we do and what our mission is.
Thank you, Bree. So if you go back to 2016, Aiven was actually founded originally by 4 developers. And our founders of being developers back in the days, what they wanted to focus on is building great applications, really focus on tasks that create value. However, in reality, often the time was spent something else, managing our infrastructure on the maintenance related tasks that doesn't create value as such. And the idea of Aiven was born from here. So meaning, as a developer, what kind of product or platform I would like to use to make sure that I can dedicate my time and focus on developing and creating cool applications instead of spending my time on operational tasks. So that was the idea of what developers really need. Secondly, it was a no-brainer that this needs to be done with the open source technologies. And thirdly, public cloud had started to gain interest. It started to gain good market share, and that was really the key enabler for the platform. So what we do, our mission is to accelerate application innovation through a modern, secure, and fully managed open source data infrastructure that is immediately deployable in public clouds and production ready from the beginning. So if we then fast forward 5 years and go to the next slide, 5 years fly. So Aiven today is a company with roughly 250 employees, soon 300 employees. We are doubling our size every year at the moment, and currently our valuation is close to 2 billion with the C round and C round extension this year. And our customers, 1,000 plus from 50 plus countries, really vary from very small startups, companies that have born this year, so 2021, to larger enterprises that are running their business globally. So if we then look more detail on the next slide, so what do we actually do? So what we do is that we provide 10 great open source technologies as a managed service. From relational databases, Postgres, MySQL, streaming from Kafka and the ecosystem around it with the Flink, a newest edition. From Cassandra as an NoSQL database to OpenSearch and Redis as being an in-memory database. And then on the really right is time series databases from M3, Grafana for visualization, and Influx as a time series database. And what customers can really do, they can deploy these technologies as a managed service on any of the cloud providers below. And the key component here is that all of the infrastructure that can be managed from Aiven console, from REST API, from CLA, from Terraform, or even utilize our Kubernetes operator. So why does this matter? If you would like to get access to these great open source technologies and to be production ready, you would really need to think about how to scale, how to do upgrades, backup, patching, all that. And you need to create that capability yourself. And that capability and creation of that capability doesn't bring any additional value. And it actually often leads that developers and engineers are doing operational work and development work for the infrastructure that they should not be doing in the first place. Instead, they should be building great applications. So with our platform, we remove that burden. So we provide a robust self-healing platform that you can easily set up. You can scale it up, down without any downtime, all the upgrades with zero downtime, integrate it with your existing environments, and most importantly, get everything full managed. So with 24/7 support and the best SLA in the market. And this is really the key to operational excellence part, but to have fully powerful managed service to manage your data infrastructure, you need also the support part. And that we provide as well. So you can contact our support engineers and they will get back to you with often just with the single right answers. What I mean by that is that we don't have different escalations. So if you contact the support, it goes directly to support engineer. And in most of the cases, that support engineer can solve the case without escalating it further. So it's really fast time to get things resolved. So this is what we do. And if we then take it to customer context on the next slide, and Talon One is one of my favorite examples. So Talon One, it's a German startup, and their product is really built for the marketers to manage online and offline promotions. And today they have a Series A investment from behind. I think that was worth something like 3 million. And in the past year, which I mean 2021, they have grown from 39 employees to 100 employees. So they are a successful startup, soon to be a scale-up company. And in the very beginning, they decided that they will focus on developing the product, the application, the Talon One that they're providing for the marketers, and not spend the limited talent, resources, and time of managing infrastructure. And at the end of the day, what they're saying today, their head of product, is that without Aiven, their business wouldn't exist. Of course, it would exist, but they would be spending more time on managing infrastructure and not developing the new version of the product, what really helps them customers to get to new level. So we empower, we do the plumbing behind, and then they can focus building what really matters. And in this case, they are using Postgres and Redis services from us. So then if you take this to a more aggregated view, what is really the value from Aiven? It depends on the customers, but this is often what we see. This is actually a study conducted by an IDC in 2021. So they interviewed our customers to understand the value that Aiven provides. And if we start to summarize this slide, I think there are kind of key takeaways. One of them is better time to market and productivity, meaning simply productivity gain and faster deployment as well. So meaning that if you need to get your idea to production and a ready product, we can really help there. Secondly, less resources are often needed with our platform, meaning that talent is rare out there. You need to find it. It's not easy. There's a lot of competition. So we can help you that with less resources, you get more out of it, making sure that they focus on the things that matter. And ultimately, these better time to market, better productivity leads to better TCO, and payback time on general from our product have been 5 months towards the investment that you have made. Good. So to summarize my part, why Aiven? We can help you to save time and money, meaning don't worry about the infrastructure, we take care of that. in the cloud that you prefer. We provide the support that you need as well. And you can deploy in clusters and your entire infrastructure in minutes instead of doing it in months. Then secondly, what this really leads to is refocus on your core business. So that is really building that cool product, that great application, not focus on plumbing. And then last thing is that when we provide several open source technologies, you don't need to think about that managing several vendors from this domain. With our set of products, you can deploy most likely a very big part of your data infrastructure and then get other parts from the cloud provider as well. And the key thing here is that we don't create any vendor locking, meaning that these workloads can be moved between the cloud providers. So if you want to move from AWS to GCP or GCP to AWS or the other ones, you can do that with the one click. And secondly, we don't do proprietary. So your data is yours at the end of the day, meaning that if you want to go away from Aiven, you can be 100% sure that this is compatible with the open source projects that we provide as a service. Thank you.
Thank you, Samsa. I hope that everyone attending the session has a clearer understanding of how we can help. And now we can talk a little bit more about the cluster startup program and how exactly we came about the idea. So as you know, we are also a startup, and Aiven has participated in several startup programs in our early days that really helped us to scale our business to the unicorn status that we recently gained. So we think we have enough experience and firsthand experience to support early stage startups that may need an extra hand to grow, especially when it comes to building the data infrastructure in the cloud. So that's how we came about to this idea. We thought it would be time to give back to the community that we are part of and help others grow the same way we did. If we go to the next slide, please. What is our startup program? Our mission was to help startups, as I was talking about before. We want to give you the opportunity to focus on your core business, take away any type of concerns you have related to data infrastructure. And also, our objective is to help the startups create a community of like-minded entrepreneurs that can help each other and work together to scale up. Next slide, please. We thought about what would be useful for the startups in this stage of their journey and how exactly would could help. So we decided that obviously it's going to be credits, so free Aiven credits. We decided that each participant in the program will get up to 100,000 Aiven credits to be able to build that modern data infrastructure. Obviously, we are also planning to have an onboarding experience for the startups to expand on the services and the products we have available, and also together with our solution architects and our specialized support to help you not waste this credit, but actually put them to use exactly in the direction that you need them to in order to achieve your objectives. Through the community that we want to foster, we will also be organizing virtual events and also providing you with practical use cases so you can leverage others' expertise and kind of take some shortcuts where we can. Also, for the startups that will be able to scale up in the first half a year, we also will be using our wonderful colleagues from the marketing department and try to provide promotion through our channels, being through blog posts, LinkedIn, to Twitter, and so on. Next slide, please. In terms of what makes you eligible to apply for the program, I think we have a very comprehensive set of criteria, and I think it would apply to many startups that we have in mind that could be at the early part of their journey. So all we require is a proof of affiliation with an approved partner. It can be any type of startup enabling organization. So it could be an incubator, a VC, or an accelerator. And if your partner is not on the list, we also have a solution for that, and we can talk a little bit about it later. As we said, we are targeting early stage startups, so the maximum startup age should be no more than 5 years. Also, in terms of funding, no greater than Series A. And we also require to have a company website and an associated email address. Next slide, please. In terms of timeline, because that's also important, we have opened applications on December 1st. We thought that our booth at Slash would be a very good opportunity to meet as many startups and spread the word about Cluster, and it turned out that it was. So starting December 1st, we opened the application process. We started to receive applications already. So you have time to apply until the 16th of January. Then we will need a few weeks to review the applications to make sure that affiliations are in place. Where they are not, we also need to have time to reach out to the partners and kind of see if they are interested to join, so we can validate the application. Then we will start communicating our decisions to the startups, and from February onwards, we are going to go live. So the credits will be assigned, and you can start getting to work. This is an important point that I would like to make. This program is starting now. It's our first contact with a startup program. So we are going to continue with this program. It's going to be an ongoing initiative of Aiven's, and we will be assessing or reassessing applications every 3 months in order to make sure that we give these opportunities to other eligible startups. So it's not one-off event, and the program will go on for 12 months for each of the startups. Can we go to the next slide, please? We talked a lot about investor partners, and this is the most updated list that we have as of today. But if your startup or enabling organization is not on this list, that doesn't mean that you are not eligible. What it means is that we currently have partnerships with the ones listed here, but we are open to enrolling new partners every day. So in case your startup is not, your partner is not here, the only thing that we request is for them to get in touch with us, being the program manager or someone from that organization, to write to cluster@aiven.io, and we can take them through what exactly needs to happen for us to become partners. But the idea is that we really only require from our partners, cluster partners, to provide us their logo so we can add them to our website, and that's how we kind of facilitate applications for the companies in their portfolio. So it's not a complex process. It's really easy to apply for partners as well. We just want to make sure that we allow as many partners and also startups to join according to the eligibility criteria. Thank you. Next slide, please. We saw that sometimes it's a little bit more abstract when you talk about $100,000 of credit, $100,000 of credits. So this is just a few use cases about what exactly you could do with these credits. But I'm sure that once we start, you will have more access to this type of use cases and kind of more customized inputs on how that would apply to your specific situation. Thank you. I think we can move to the next slide, which is basically the sign that we have reached our Q&A session, and we can kind of go through the questions that we receive. So the first question that we receive is, what are the terms for credit expiration and usage? So I think I mentioned, so the credits are valid for 12 months. So 100,000 up to 100,000 to be used within 12 months. I hope that answers the question. The other question I have is, our company is not ready to apply now. Is the program open throughout the year? Yes, this is an ongoing initiative. It's one of our company's objectives. So we really want to make sure that the program is successful, and we want to run it as an ongoing startup program. Therefore, we will be assessing applications every 3 months to the program. So the sign up button will always be active, and someone from managing the cluster program will be in touch with you with details if there's any information missing from your application. Another question, what sort of technical assistance is included in the cluster program? It's a very good question, and I think we want to make sure that you get the best outcome from the free credits all the time. So what we're planning to do on top of, like providing you with material and a knowledge base of how our products work and how to best use them, we will create a community of the startups that are participating in the program. We will have a community manager moderate that community and kind of gather questions, gather input, and we're going to have solution architects join and provide, like office hours types of support on different topics related to, obviously, of interest to you, and kind of helping you draw out and solution some of the issues that you want to get solved. Also, the credits that you have available can allow you to purchase our premium support. So if you need to, you can use the credit to do that in case you have a very specific issue that needs to be solved. Another question is, does Aiven want any equity in exchange for this 100K of credit? The answer is no, we don't ask, and nor do we expect any such equity in anyone's company. So it's a program in which we want to support businesses to grow, but we don't ask for any equity in exchange. Another question is about the investors not being listed on our partner list. As I said, you can apply because there is a possibility to select my investor is not on the list. You can apply by providing us a contact from your, your partner that you are associated with, being an investor or an incubator or accelerator. Provide us with a contact and we can get in touch with them, providing them information about Cluster and asking them if they're interested to partner up with us. So I think we can do that. We can still accept your application and try to fulfill the eligibility criteria by getting in touch with your organization. I think this is a question for Sam. Maybe you can help me here. What is the average time to first response and time resolution when typical issues arise while using products like Postgres or MySQL?
That's a good question. So what we promise is our availability promise is 99.99%, but actually we reach even more nines. So if you take an example that, for example, you have a Postgres cluster that has 3 nodes, which would be our premium plan, and one of the nodes go down, we will actually, the self-healing process will kick in and it will self-heal it. So there's actually no impact on customer side, and probably you haven't even noticed anything. And we have fixed this issue. Let's say that the network connection was lost or whatever was the reason. But then if there is a case that you reach out to our support, for example, you have done something or there is an issue on your side or there's a question, it depends really on how important it is, meaning how critical is it? Is it very critical? Is it something between or not that critical at all? And then our SLA response time depends on that. And how fast we get back to you is then based on the support plan that we have agreed. So it can be within 15 minutes, 24/7, or if there's no support plan, then it can be on the next day in our SLA promise. But it's important to really differentiate these two things, that what is a support SLA and what is an SLA for our platform. And our platform SLA is 99.99%. Good.
Great. Thank you. I also see we have a raised hand. I assume it was related to, okay. So I think we can, I see there's a question in the chat, and I think that would be hard to kind of keep track, but I will read it. Can pre-seed stage startups participate 2 months on the market? We do our best, and we want to support as many promising startups as possible. So as I said, as long as you can, we can fulfill the application criteria, even if you don't have funding at the moment. But if you are part of an incubator program, or you're affiliated with any type of startup enabling organization, you can still apply by providing us a contact from that organization, so we can reach out to them and kind of see your kind of verify the affiliation with them. Another question that we received was about a company having at a Series B. Can they still apply? We were targeting the cluster program to early stage startups. So a Series B was a little beyond that that funding threshold that we had established. So if you are currently a Series B, but you still can, if you still want to apply, you can, and we can review the application and kind of get back to you in case we decide to consider it. The same question for angel investors. I guess it will apply as well in terms of the eligibility criteria, that someone from the angel investors will be associated with other type of programs, but you can apply as well, provide us with a contact, and we can get in touch with them just to verify that that's happening. And we will review the application as well. I think a lot of questions actually have to do with investors and eligibility criteria around that. There's another one about, can a startup without investor or VC apply to this program? I think I partially answered it before. We are aware that there are companies that are just starting now, and maybe they are not associated with any investor from the partner list that we have, or VC. But again, it could be that you are part of a different type of organization that kind of aggregates startups and some sort of a, I don't know, accelerator program. So this is something that we are also considering as part of the application process. As an investor, can I promote this program to my portfolio? Do I need to sign any agreement with Aiven? We're not asking our partners to sign any specific agreement, because the only thing that we expect from them is actually just to support our promotion of the cluster program throughout their portfolio. So we are dealing with it on a case-by-case basis. We have a communication package prepared that we can share with any investor or VC or accelerator that is interested to partner with us. And in turn, what we will do is with your agreement, ask for a logo and post it on our partner cluster link, so your portfolio knows that they are eligible to apply. Okay. Do we have to give access to our AWS resources, or will it be something like VPC peering, Samsung?
Yeah. Simple answer. In the AWS, it can be private link VPC peering. Then there are even deployment models where we could deploy directly to your account. But there are several things, and then also from the security side and encryptions. happy to cover that further with our solution architects, but more or less your data is yours and we don't have access to it.
Great. Thank you. I think it was a very good session. And I see that the majority of the questions have to do with the eligibility criteria. I encourage you to write us to cluster@aiven.io if you feel there are some more questions that weren't covered, or if you have to talk about your specific situation, and I promise you someone will get in touch with you and kind of provide you with an explanation, with an alternative, with a solution if you want us to consider an application. That being said, I want to thank all the attendees, SAMHSA and my colleagues for organizing this session, and just to remind you that aiven.io/cluster is the page where you can find all the information that we talked about today. And again, if you require further assistance, use cluster@aiven.io for that. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day or good evening, depending on your time zone.
Thank you.